the final score, Wrexham 3, Charlton Athletic 0. Back to back to back. Not bad. But I mean, how good has it been the last 4 years? This is up there with anything that's ever happened to us ever. This is insane. What a day. The opportunity was there. Leyton Orient did us a favour by beating Wycombe. So we knew victory would guarantee promotion. And I tell you what, that team, they hit Blackpool with determination. And as Phil Parkinson said, both at Blackpool and in this match, oh boy, they knew that they could get the job done, and they were single-minded and magnificent in achieving it. As the scoreline suggests, Charlton, well, I mean, look at their form coming into this game. They set a club record for the most clean sheets they've kept in a season. By the way, we equalled that on Saturday. When they won at Wycombe the weekend before, they won 4-0 at Wycombe. This is a team coming in rare form. But we were just far, far, far too much for them. What an intense performance. So firstly, surprise, surprise, completely unchanged at the start of the match. And we started it on fire. You know, within the first 20 seconds, we'd already got the ball up the pitch, put a lot of pressure on the edge of the penalty area, and then Ollie Rathbone, setting that Ollie Rathbone toe as he does, rattled in with an epic tackle when Charlton got the ball back. And the crowd, who were phenomenal from the start, I mean, the crowd was just up for it. They knew they had a part to play, and the crowd were cranking it up way before kickoff. The crowd went up another level when Rathbone did that, because they'd already been putting a lot of effort in before the match, and then they immediately see the team up for it, at it, on the front foot, and doing exactly the same thing. So Rathbone just showed that amazing relationship between the fans and the players was going to be a big, big factor. And in the first half hour, and I'm not trying to say this in any way to be disparaging of Charlton, who were a very good team, but we blew them away in the first half hour. And it was, I thought great credit to Charlton that they were able to recover and make a game of it and even things out more as the game went on. But in the first half hour, we were unplayable. We were intense. They didn't have a second to rest. The work rate was fabulous. Rodriguez and Smith up front just would not stop. And as a consequence of that, Charlton were really finding it difficult to get out, because our two wing backs as well are high up the pitch, and their back four are struggling to find the out ball. In midfield, James, Rathbone and Dobson are absolutely on fire, and they are snapping around at Charlton's midfielders. And it's just a brilliant example of how to get on the front foot, play in the other side's half, press them hard, and just not let them recover from your intensity. So first chance comes in the 9th minute. Really good work at first between James and Longman, just combining to work their way through midfield. In the end, James finds Longman on the right hand side, and he whips in a delicious cross, which Charlton aren't able to deal with. The only disappointment for Wrexham is we don't have anyone attacking the 6-yard box, because if we did, it would have been a great chance. Charlton's defence has to allow it to bounce in the box. They can't deal with it, which obviously is very dangerous, but it does bounce through to the flank. When McLean puts in a cracking cross from his side on his left foot to the far post, Longman has followed his cross in and is arriving at the far post and meets it with a header which is blocked underneath the bar, and the first opportunity is cleared. But it's relentless after that. Having waited 9 minutes of excellent pressure to start making chances, they start coming in a flurry now. Soon afterwards, Smith, winning an excellent flick, finds Rodriguez, who's too strong for the player he's tussling with, gets past him, and he's running at the last defender, Lloyd Jones, from pretty much the halfway line. Jones slips And just for a moment you think, oh my gosh, we've just been gifted such an opportunity. But unluckily for us, as he falls, he sort of falls across Rodriguez's path. So it's not easy for Rodriguez, who was just making a move to engage with Jones and take him on. So he has to flick it sort of over Jones and then run round him to try and get there. And he still would have been one-on-one were it not for the fact that Ramsey, who had a very good game at right back and then right centre back when they changed shape, terrific recovery run, terrific pace by him, just about managed to nick the ball from Rodriguez. Great work by him, or, well, what a chance it would have been. But a couple of minutes later, another massive chance. Dan Scarr played a cracking ball over the top. Gillespie is chasing, but Smith outpaces, and he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He carries it really deep into the box, and just as he's about to hit it from like 7 yards out, Gillespie comes back and makes an absurd saving tackle, lunging in from behind. If he gets that wrong, it's a penalty. Lunging in from behind, gets his toe to it and just prods it wide of the far post. I mean, Smith will have been really frustrated. He took his time over it. Maybe he will feel he could have hit it earlier. But to be fair, it wasn't for Gillespie again, excelling as Ramsey had have done. It would be a goal. 48 seconds later, we scored a goal. Because the corner is nicely, I mean, it's beautiful. We clearly looked at Charlton's defending of set pieces and seen something. So I've not seen us set up, and I can recall, like this for a corner this season. We packed the 6-yard box in two different areas. So we had players at the near post, centre of the goal was empty, and then a lot of players at the far post. But the idea wasn't that they would be attacking and penning in the keeper. Those players were there to pen in the Charlton defenders. So the corner's taken short. James helps it quickly onto Rathbone on the edge of the area. He's got time and space to take a touch and set himself. The Charlton defenders are all penned in. To be honest, they don't seem to really make an effort to come out anyway. And Rathbone smashes it. What a beautiful hit. I mean, Rathbone, you look at his goal scoring record throughout his career, this is the most he's ever scored in a season, and you know, most seasons he's got one or two. His performances have been fabulous, but his goal scoring and chipping in with these really important goals has been massive for us. And this is a great, powerful strike. It rips through the crowded 6-yard box. The keeper gets down low to his right and can't get his hand to it, because A, the power is so much that by the time he sees it, it's past him, and B, yeah, by the time he sees him, it's important. Wrexham and penning Charlton in and them not trying to get out mean that he's really unsighted, but it's a beautiful strike by Rathbone, and Wrexham are ahead. The place explodes. It's just a warm-up, because 3 minutes later the place explodes again when Wrexham take a 2-0 lead. It's nice build-up play. McLean and Dobson working it down the left-hand side, feeding it into Rodriguez, and Rodriguez works it to James. So Wrexham, you know, we're very intense, but our passing is snappy and sharp. Dobson does a little chop back and feeding it into Rodriguez. But then Rathbone gives it to James. And we've been trying to work these balls in for Smith, who was running in behind us. Much vaunted Charlton defence. I mean, Lord Jones is named in the league of the League One team of the season on Sunday. But Smith is making them look ordinary with his running in behind. They're trying to step up, and Smith's just constantly timing his runs right. When he's in a race with either of the centre-backs, he's winning the race. James plays in the most delicious chip, and Smith matches it with an absurd scissors kick. Now, obviously, the iconic scissors kick at the racecourse is Mark Hughes at the Cop end. Well, now we've got one for the other end, because I mean, it is such a difficult skill. It's a beautiful pass, but still, James has got a lot. Smith has got a lot to do. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He's about 10 yards out, and he's sprinting to try and get to it. He wants to take it on the full if he can, and he's airborne and makes this most perfect contact with his left foot. It's beautiful. I mean, so many times you see these goals. I mean, the Wayne Rooney Man United Man City goal is a famous example, an overhead, where he doesn't actually make a good contact at all as such. He's trying to hit it obviously with his foot. He hits it with his shin. But his technique is so good, he's striking through the right line, and his timing is good anyway, that it still makes good contact, and all you got to do then is try and steer it in the right direction. But Smith isn't like that. Smith nails it. Smith absolutely gets the meat of his foot through the ball, and we look at it, he's really stretching to his left for it. It's a hell of a contact, and again, keeper has no chance. Absolutely no chance. The ball flies in, and it's 2-0. Utterly superb goal by a striker who is worth his weight. And we didn't pay 2 million for him. We paid like 700,000 for him, but who cares? he's worth 2 million. I think, frankly, probably just in this one game. We keep going. The intensity continues, and we go close once more. This time, James winning the ball well in midfield. Rathbone feeding the ball forward. Smith going 1-on-1 at Gillespie, who does really well again just to manage to deal with it. But Wrexham are rampant. As, like I said, it's to Charlton's credit that around the half-hour mark they do actually start to slow it down a bit. It's been played at an insane tempo, and it's chaos when Wrexham get the ball. Charlton defenders having to make desperate tackles, Gillespie especially, and I'm saying that as a compliment, by the way, to Gillespie. And the pace has to diminish at some point, and it does after about half an hour. And to be fair to Charlton, they are able to have a bit more time and get the ball down and move it around. And in these periods, they actually manage to have just about the better of the game. Campbell on the left is a threat. He wanting to cut in onto his right foot all the time and trying to drive at the defenders. For me, I think he just delays a bit too much though. He was looking good, he was looking threatening, but when he had chances maybe to put an early ball in for the strikers, he wasn't really doing so, and I think that maybe was a bit of a mistake by him, although when he trusts his left foot to put a cross in, he nearly sets up a goal to pull Charlton back into it. He finds Godden about 10 yards out. Godden, their top scorer, prolific striker, high quality, looked really good in the game at the Valley, and he hits it first time. Magnificent defending by Scar, who sticks tight to him and makes a brilliant block. 5 minutes later, they make another opportunity, and this is a really good chance. Ramsey with a brilliant ball over the top. Watson has managed to get in around the side of Wrexham's back three, down the right flank. He takes a touch in his chest. It's just, he's unlucky. It's just come at a bit of an awkward height. So he's got to try and chest it down. It gets a little bit stuck between his feet. He still digs out a decent shot though, but Okonkwo's got his angle spot on and he's able to parry it away. And that is it for the half. So Wrexham, in the last 15, foot off the gas a little bit. Inevitably, you can't play at that pace for 90 minutes, surely. But we have game managed it nicely. And although Charlton have had the ball, we've defended very solidly. And at half-time, we're 2-0 up. Charlton come out for the second half. And again, they have more of the ball than they had in the first half, certainly. Gillespie putting up a free kick to the edge of the area. Dan Scar, who was a monster at the back, well, does a sort of one-man defensive job. He heads the first ball away. It's hooked back in by Coventry. Drops in the box. Scar makes a great tackle. It comes back out. A shot is made on the edge of the box, but Scar is there. Makes a good block, actually, 15 yards out. I think Dobson might have blocked it if it got past Scar, because Wrexham's defenders are hurling their bodies in the path of the ball every time there's any need to. It's heroic. They have another good breakaway when, again, Ramsey feeds a good ball down the right-hand side for Watson. And he swings his cross in, I think a bit too early, ironically, that's what I said about Campbell. Beck is trying to get in there. He's been brought on as Charlton are now changing shape and personnel, trying to get something different working. And Beck can't quite get there, but he trips over, in fact, in his desperation to get there. But it hits Cleworth, who's tracked Beck back well. And ricochets on target, quick hands by Okonkwo, just grabs it, and there's no concern. 69th minute, Rodriguez comes off having had an excellent game, and Stephen Fletcher comes on. Oh, say the Charlton defenders. And we're controlling the game. Charlton have got a fair amount of the ball, but we're looking very comfortable. They're not making chances. And in the 80th minute, we wrap things up definitively. Scar winning a header, finding Cleworth. Cleworth goes, Longman. Longman comes forwards on a real meandering run. He carries it a long way, then comes inside and ends up on the left flank, having fed the ball into Dobson. Dobson and Rathbone combine with Cleworth, and Cleworth is nicely put round the back of the defence by Dobson, and it's just lovely. It's a good old-fashioned basics of football. Cleworth down the right, tears in a most inviting cross with lovely pace on it to the edge of the 6-yard box. Smith attacks it. He's too strong for Gillespie and blasts in a header. Takes a bit of a deflection off Gillespie. It doesn't make the blindest bit of difference because the keeper Mannion's got no chance, and the ball smashes into the net. It's a real visceral get your teeth into that one goal. It's lovely. And Wrexham 3-0 up can start celebrating early. We make another chance. Having said that, the ball played by Rathbone to Fletcher, who pops in lovely little return pass. Rathbone then pulls it across to the right hand side, and Longman has got the flank wide open, tears forwards, taking advantage. He's got players attacking the box. Maybe he should cross it, to be fair, but they're all backing off him, so he keeps carrying it and suddenly finds he's in the box and thinks about, well, hit this. He maybe just takes it a yard too far and makes the angle a bit more difficult. Plus Gillespie again lunges in front and makes a good sort of low block in front of him, so he's going to have to lift it, and he puts it over the bar. And that's it. Marriott comes on for Smith with 3 minutes left and has a nice time snapping around and harrying it as he does. The final whistle goes, and it's just insanity with fans on the pitch going crazy, players being carried around on their shoulders, all sorts going on. Rob and Ryan pouring a Gatorade over Michael Williamson. Did I just advertise them? What the heck, it's Christmas. What a performance by Wrexham, and what a moment for any football club. First in history to go back to back to back in British football. In the professional game, I mean, obviously, see Dorking got 15 promotions, wasn't it, in about 17 seasons. So okay, but in actual professional levels, this is the first time ever, and it's a record that's liable to stand the test of time. Didn't need the playoffs to do it either in any of those seasons. This is quite something, isn't it? Quite an achievement, quite a team, and quite a manager, quite a staff, quite an everything. Anyway, looking at the performances, well, Okonkwo didn't have too much to do. What he did do, he did with aplomb. It was one of the bigger surprises for me that he's not in that League One team of the season, considering the consistent excellence of the man. And in these latter games, he's often not had that much to do, but what he's done well. So he has that one save, really, from Watson. But in the air, he just gives you this remarkable sense of solidity, doesn't he? He just comes and there is no fuss. There is no fuss. I'm just going to catch this. Great stuff from Okonkwo. The three centre-backs were terrific. And, I mean, I've got to start with Scar, who has come in and just put in 2.5 matches of outstanding performances. We brought him in because he's a top championship player, and a number of times the opposing press have said, whoa, Scar isn't starting, because they've seen him play in a championship and they know how good he is. And when he has come in, he's played well, but in these 2.5 matches, my goodness, he's come in and just looked a ready-made higher level player, hasn't he? He's been brilliant. His challenging and his heading and everything, blocking, and his passing has been very impressive. Long range passing, finding the strike has been really, really good. And then either side of him, Cleworth. Oh, Max Cleworth, it's just the best, isn't he? Absolutely rock solid. I mean, again, to refer to that League One team of the week, they keep talking in his citation on the ceremony about he scored 8 goals, he scored 8 goals. Yeah, he did, and that was brilliant and a huge contribution. But please don't just lazily put a centre-back in because he scored goals. Max Cleworth is in that League One team of the season because he's outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And, for me, consistently across the season, for what I've seen of League One, he and Clara, the Birmingham centre-back, who did make it into it, those two are the best centre-backs, the most consistent centre-backs in the division. Cleworth was excellent and worked in that cross because he's got more to him than just defending. Outstanding. Brunt, again, terrific. That amazing spring-heeled leap he has. I mean, he's a freakishly good header of the ball. And again, the three of them together, what a defensive unit. Brunt also will sprint forwards, will play line breaking passes. Great stuff from him. The wing backs. Longman really was threatening constantly. That energy, making those late runs as well, was very impressive. He's joining in the rat-a-tat-tat passing in midfield and pulling Charlton out of shape all the time, going inside to allow Cleworth to come around the outside. Object lesson in wing-back play. James McLean. Well, James McLean, you know what I mean? Hell's bells. Made for that sort of do-or-die situation. You can have a team that needs intensity and desire and drive and quality. Well, James McLean, that's what you see if you look at McLean up in the dictionary. He was terrific. He was at them all the time. Really set an example as captain of getting at the team and was ripping balls in, was winning challenges, and yeah, it was so strong, confident performance by him. In the middle of the pitch, Matty James, outstanding again. That assist, well, I was going to say assist of the season, except remember his assist at Bristol Rovers for Elliot Lee. I mean, wow, what range of passing. James has been an amazing acquisition, and again, he was breaking play up so well. He uses the ball so intelligently. He's always there to bounce a pass off. He had such authority in that midfield. Dobson was all action. It's interesting, isn't it? He started the season brilliantly in that Matty James position. And then at first, when he was being used on the right side of the midfield three, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's not as effective there. We shouldn't be picking him. Well, he is. And this showed it, didn't it? He's got a great, range of passing. He's progressive. He's looking to create chances. He's aggressive with and without the ball. He was carrying it really well. Again, fine stuff. Ollie Rathbone was Ollie Rathbone, and that's plenty for me. He is just non-stop energy, ball retrieval, ball retention, scores a screamer. That's what you expect. Another bloke how he didn't get into League One Team of the Year mystifies me. And then up front, and Jay Rodriguez, I thought, had a fine game. There were so many moments when his work rate gave problems for the Charlton defenders. When they had the ball, he wouldn't give them a second's rest. When they didn't have the ball, he's running at them all the time. He's running in behind them. He's offering. He's dropping off. And again, that sharp rat-a-tat passing. Well, a player with his technique, that's meat and drink to him. He was classy, really classy. Really enjoyed his performance. And some people don't seem to understand what he brings. Well, that's what he brought. And we are solid with him in the team as well, because he's very good at sacrificing himself, dropping into midfield and when we haven't got the ball, and doing that job. So, but yeah, I thought he was extremely impressive, combined beautifully with the man. I've got to say, and let's be honest, there were a hell of a lot of performances out there that I could have said were man of the match, but it's got to be Sam Smith. Constant threats, absolute nightmare to mark, battling all the time, running in behind all the time. And he did score 2 goals, one of which was an absolute worldie, and the other one was profoundly satisfying as well. I rattle on a lot about Jim Steele, brilliant centre forward that we had in the 80s. And I always remember standing on the Kop and him scoring a goal. And I use the word visceral too much for these sort of things, but I always remember being in the Kop and him just attacking it, and powerful header scoring. I can't remember who it was against. And standing behind that goal, seeing it, you felt it. It would have been epic to have been in the fourth wall stand and felt that goal by Smith, because it felt great from the side, but right behind it to see him just attacking that perfect close cross and smashing it in. That felt nice, I'm quite sure. Off the bench, we only used 2 subs. Resting the strikers, Fletcher comes on and was full of his lovely little touches and flicks. And Marius came on and put in a hard-working, brief shift. And like I said, then it was over to the fans to celebrate and pay tribute to this heroic team. One more game to go, so please, if anybody is aware of what the fancy dress code is, let me know. But it's going to be a party. It's going to be one hell of a party. And when we think about the party we had at Lincoln when we dropped out of the Football League, I mean, that was a moment where I think you felt proud of Wrexham fans. Well, now we can have an actual real party there. It's a bit of a hot ticket, Lincoln, isn't it? Happy days. I'll take that. And here is to next season. That's water, not vodka. Pint of vodka. No. Not today. Here's to next season doing a back-to-back. Double Winehouse. Nice one. With the final score of Wrexham 3, Charlton Athletic 0. We're off to the Championship. And I'm Mark Griffiths, very proudly of Wrexham AFC.